Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of the Screw Anxiety Challenge. If you are watching on YouTube and you've stumbled upon what we are doing today and you have no idea, you can still get involved in this. In fact, you can, in the group on Facebook or on YouTube, still get involved in the Screw Anxiety Challenge. You just have to go over yesterday's video as well and implement the challenge up until Saturday, where if you're on YouTube, you have to register. So just click the link below. There'll be a link for you below. Get registered. If you're in my Facebook group, the Happy Me Project Facebook group, you can just crack on and you can just do yesterday's video and today's video challenge. Have a little watch through it. And I will be announcing the winners of the Screw Anxiety Challenge on Sunday. So just a recap, there will be 3 days, 3 challenges. Each day I will be talking about anxiety and how we work through this. Good morning on Facebook. I can't see who that is, but good morning. And if you are watching on Facebook, you might want to just let StreamYard know that I can see you. There's a way to do it. I don't know how it is, but anyway, I can see you. I just can't see who it is until afterwards. So the way that will work, 3 challenges each day. Good morning, Imogen. And if you complete those challenges, you tag me in them, you hashtag Screw Anxiety so I can see that you've taken part in the challenges. There will be some prizes. 2 of my necklaces, which I've taken my necklace off and I forgot to put it on, which is annoying. My diamond necklaces, which I created with Mantra jewelry. Good morning, Wendy. And I created with Mantra jewelry, and they are diamond necklaces, not diamond as in they are the shape, should I say, of a diamond. And they come with the mantra, diamonds are made under pressure. And so that is my mantra. So there's 2 of those to be won. There is my nighttime meditations, my daytime meditations. That's 10 sets of guided meditations that are lovely and will help you to either feel energized in the day or relaxed on the evening. I am also giving away one of my resilience webinars. So it's a whole, I think it's an hour and a half talking specifically about resilience. And my Happy Me Project original course, the Happy Me Project 1, which is 21 days of audios, videos, and positive mindset. And then you can, that is another prize. I think that's everything, isn't it? I think that's everything I said. I might chuck in something else. I don't know. But there we go. So that's what the prizes that you can win. But actually, more importantly than that, the most important thing is to actually implement the stuff that we're talking about. And that's it, isn't it? It's simply to implement the chat that we're talking about in terms of anxiety, because I would imagine that most of you guys are here, unless you've stumbled across this, you are here because you have been experiencing some anxiety and it hasn't been feeling good, and perhaps you haven't felt quite on top of it. So yesterday we talked about how to, I guess, befriend anxiety. We talked about what was going on for anxiety, and my challenge and also recognizing that anxiety isn't all bad, that we need anxiety as well. So that was really important. And those of you that joined in yesterday were tasked to do a letter to your anxiety and thanking your anxiety for being there, but also reminding your anxiety that it doesn't need to be there all of the time, that you don't need it all the time, that you got this, you sussed it. And I saw so many of you get involved in this challenge yesterday. It really, really warmed my heart. And it warmed my heart because I know that you're going to get benefit from it. I know that you're unpicking some of the stuff that's going on for you. And I even showed my 2 daughters, Brooke and Texas, who are 10 and 8, some of them, because I also think it's important that our younger people understand that even us adults don't have it together. We still find it challenging. It doesn't matter what age, so that our children can see that it's okay, that when they feel anxious, they're not weird. You know, it's not strange. It's normal. It's human. It means we're a human being, which is good. And Imogen loved writing the letter. I'm so proud of you for doing it. It's not an easy thing to do. So before we delve into today's topic, I want to ask how you are. I like to do this every time we have a session with each other, from a 1 to a 10. 1 being you feel rubbish, 10 being that you feel really incredible this morning. Let me know how you are in the comments. Just let me know. Just put a number 1 to 10 in there. I would say, again, I'm a 9 today. I feel pretty on top of it. I've washed my hair, which always just increases your productivity somehow. I have an amazing session this afternoon with some business women, and I'm getting very excited because I have seen so many of you join You Got This Academy again. Some of the guys that did it last year are going again, my OGs. For those of you that don't know what that is my 6-week coaching program, which will be going live on Monday and will be repeated again on Tuesday. And it's 6 weeks of self-development. So if you've been in the mindset of, do you know what, I've got some value from what Holly's been talking about today, or I've been getting into self-development and you want to go a little bit deeper and have some accountability to that. So just being able to, I just want to make sure, actually, can everybody hear me okay? I've just been chatting away. I'm assuming you can, but I just I don't know if I have, if anybody's actually said you have. Yeah, okay. I'm just checking on YouTube as well. If anybody, I don't think there's many people on from YouTube, but that is okay. I just realized I was gabbering away here. Is gabbering a word? I don't think gabbering is a word. Gibbering's a word. Is gabbering a word? I made a word up, I think. But anyway, wicked. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for letting me know. I think I knew you guys on Facebook could, but I just suddenly thought, I haven't seen anybody from YouTube. That's often somebody will comment. So not to worry. They must be there, or they will be there afterwards. And that is all good. So good to see we have somebody on Facebook who's a 7. I can't see who you are. Wendy is an 8. Imogen is a 6. And it's really important that we recognize what our average is. Don't worry, Nicole. You're not late. You're in. We haven't started talking about the main topic yet. Well done for yesterday's letter writing. And Helen is a 7 or an 8 today. Average is a 7 at the moment, so feeling pretty good. That's ace. And what Helen just said there is really important. The average that you have over the days is, it will, it may change, or you might find that in a low time, you're at a lower end of the scale. So you might be at a 2 for a while and you feel really rubbish. You get to a 4, to somebody who's at a 9, a 4 might seem really sad, but actually you're feeling a lot better than you were. So it's about your own average and not comparing it to other people's, because it's not a fair comparison, because also everybody's interpretation of that is different. The reason it's good to use numbers is because it's tangible, isn't it? So I'll do it with my daughters. I've even taught some of my friends that I do that. And it means that I can say, where you at 1 to 10, rather than how are you? Where everyone's like, I don't know how I am. Changeable, changes all the time. I've got no idea. And who else have we got? Hannah is here. Hannah is a 9 today. Incredible. Great night's sleep. Oh, this makes a difference. Loved letter writing and challenging myself. I love this. Amazing. I can see somebody on Facebook. I can't say who it is, but you're a 7 today as well. So actually, all in all today, there's been some quite high numbers. That doesn't mean everybody's at those high numbers though. Erica's here, and Erica's about 7 today. Think still not, so it's not bad. Above average, just a bit fatigued. Fatigue. I like the word fatigued. I don't know why. I feel like it's been the word. It was like the word of. It's the word of this year. Fatigued, isn't it? I think everyone's felt a bit fatigued. I feel like I've said that quite a lot. So just check in with yourself. See how you are. If you're on the lower end of the scale, I'm glad you're here. What can you do to move yourself up a point? It doesn't have to be trying to get to 10. And if you're in the higher realms of your average, wicked. Be in it. Don't second guess it. Don't start thinking, oh, something bad's coming, like we sometimes do for ourselves, which is lovely, isn't it? It's called joy foreboding. I learned that word very recently, and it means that we're just kind of, oh, hi Faye, no worries, I can't say the name, but hi Faye. Yeah, it just means that we kind of, when we're in our moments of joy, we almost second guess that they might go. And that's it. And Wendy says, I tend to scale myself before I go to sleep too. That's a really important thing. Yeah, I think I would do that as well, actually. And I often ask my daughters how they are as well at that time of night. It's good to know, isn't it? It's good to just check in with ourselves. It's about us being more mindful, and it's a good thing. So let's delve into today's talk about anxiety. And if you did miss yesterday's, make sure to check the video from yesterday as well, so you get a full roundup of what we're talking about in terms of anxiety. Today, day 2 on the anxiety challenge is about the reframe. It's about reframing. It is time to reframe your anxiety story. We kind of started that yesterday, I think, when we started understanding that anxiety isn't all bad. That's part of the reframe. But an important thing with anxiety is to remember that anxiety, the painful feelings that we feel when we feel anxious, signal change. Anxiety or unrest in any way is a signal. It's a signal. Your body's not comfortable with something. It's a signal that you are feeling unrest in your body and in your mind. It is a signal, a nod. Now, what you decide to do with that, good morning on Facebook, I can't see who it is, but good morning. And what you decide to do with that anxiety signal is down to you. And that's where we put back on our investigator hat. I don't know if there is an investigator. Is there an investigator hat? We hold up our investigator badge. I don't know what we do. I'm putting on an investigator hat. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm putting on an investigator hat. Anyway, we become the investigator, like we did yesterday, become the detective. We decide to start working out, ooh, I've had the anxiety feeling, whatever, because that will be different for all of you as well, how anxiety manifests in your body. Some of you might have the full scale, razzmatazz of a panic attack. I mean, I'm making it sound quite sexy. It's not, of course. I have experienced panic attacks throughout my life. I don't get them regularly. They're horrible if I've ever had them. I had one last year, and that was the most recent one that I had. And interestingly about that one, which is always weird to say, interesting about my panic attack. I had a panic attack, didn't see it coming at all. Didn't see it coming. It wasn't a high time of anxiety for me. I think it was actually the pitter patter of like the drip, drip, drip in the bucket of like feeling stressed that got me and caught me out. And I didn't actually know I was having a panic attack at the time because it was a different way it manifested for me. Like it kind of was different. There was the heart rate thing. There was I often find I get a shortness of breath in that kind of feeling, but it's not like it's not like what's the word? Like a brown bag. It's not that, but I just feel like there's not enough air. And it also, my fingers went a bit weird as well and numb, which I didn't know was a thing. Now, please don't take these as not other signs for things, by the way. Check out the signs of a panic attack. But actually it was, it was an unusual one for me. Now, usually anxiety for me comes in the form of procrastinating or actually over preparing. Sometimes I'm busy, but physically it manifests often in the breath for me. That isn't the case for everybody. Good morning, Kaylee, as well. And Wendy says, it's funny you say that. I know I need to get out of my office today to be able to regroup in a different environment so I can focus this afternoon. That's good that you've recognized that, Wendy. That's really important. So the signal is really key. So what I'm saying is, as in my talk in there about the manifestation of how it feels in your body, everybody will be different. Some of you will feel like quite sweaty. Some of you will find yourself frozen with anxiety. It's so different for all of us. So knowing, understanding how it manifests for you is quite important. When we have these feelings, we then have to become the detective. I've had the signal, all right? I've had my signal, whatever that looks like for you. I know that I'm starting to feel anxiety about something that's going on, or about just life. It feels a bit heavy. I'm starting to feel anxious. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my guts. I can feel it in a headache. I can feel it in a stomach pain, however that anxiety looks for you. Okay. And Imogen says, I've often felt frozen with anxiety. It's horrible. Yeah. Horrible feeling. What horrible. I mean, none of this stuff, as much as we talked yesterday, obviously about the importance of anxiety. And I stand by that's so important that we have anxiety, that we don't just go through life without any fears or worries. That would be a really strange place to be in. But it's not a nice feeling. I never want you to think I minimize that. It's not a nice feeling. That's why we're talking about it, because feeling frozen in time because of anxiety doesn't feel good. So then once we've had our warning shot, we have to become the investigator. And this might be an exercise that you do with a pen and paper. I'm a fan of the old pen and paper. And I want you to write down what is coming up for you. What is the situation or the challenge that you're feeling? Because it might be quite obvious. You might know what the situation is. I know yesterday we had a few people talk about what their own personal stuff is as well. And so writing down what it is. So you write down, what is the situation? What is my challenge that I'm facing right now? Let's just use the example we used yesterday of, we are heading, certainly in the UK, back out into the world. The shops are open, the hairdressing salons are open, the pub gardens and restaurant gardens are open. And Kaylee's just saying, sorry, I just noticed that Kaylee's saying, I often feel my head is heavy. I get that. Yeah, I get that as well. I'm sure that's probably quite common, almost like a fuzzy head people can get sometimes with anxiety, can't they? And so you're going to write that down. So let's say we use the idea of you going into the shops. That feels a lot for some people right now. So we're going to write that down. My situation is, I feel anxious about going back out into the world. I feel quite anxious about being around people. That's my challenge right now. And you'll notice that I say the word challenge a lot rather than problem. Again, we talked about language yesterday. There's a big difference between a problem and a challenge. A challenge, what's it that we say? We can rise to a challenge. We can rise to it, can't we? We can rise to the challenge. A challenge is like a puzzle that we have to unpick. And that's exactly what we do when it comes to our mindset. We have to unpick what's going on for us. So this is our challenge. Our challenge is, if we choose to accept it, we want to go back out into the world and we're feeling a bit anxious about it. So that's our challenge. We write that down. Then we write down the thoughts that you're having about the thing. So what are the thoughts I'm having about going back out into the world? It's going to be too noisy. There's going to be too many people. There's going to be too much going on. I'm going to feel overwhelmed. I'm not going to know what to do. I'm going to be nervous. I'm going to be nervous when I have to pay for something in the shop because I haven't done that before. It feels nerve-wracking. I'm worried perhaps about the health implications. I'm going to feel anxious about getting the coronavirus, right? Let's say these are things that are coming up for you. You're going to write down, what are the feelings? These are the feelings that I'm having, okay? Then you are, sorry, I said feelings, but it's also, and the thoughts and feelings. Let's write down both. So thoughts and feelings. The thoughts are, I'm going to feel overwhelmed, all the ones I've said, but the feeling I'm getting is, I guess, overwhelmed. I just said that one. The feelings are anxiety. The feelings are fear. The feelings are upset. Maybe I feel upset about it. It makes me feel quite stuck. Maybe these are the feelings that we write out. Good morning, Stephen on YouTube. Good to see you back. Much love to me and the girls. Thank you, Stephen. And Jenna said the amount of people is my main worry. I think it's so common, Jenna. I get that as well. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't feel anxious about going back out into the world, but I would say generally for me, when I'm around loads of people, it's quite, I just find it overwhelming. I'm an empath, so I pick up people's energy a lot. And also my brain is very distractible and I find it quite noisy and a lot when I'm in big spaces. So we may be heading to the shops today. And I don't know, is Primark open? The girls want to go to Primark and we might be going there. That to me is just a lot. Like I need to lie down after that. I will need to lie down. That's too many people, too much going on, too much noise, too much energy. Boom, it's too much for me. So I get that. So I would probably write down my feeling is too much. It's overwhelm. Just reading the comments, Jenna says that's how Wendy's agreeing with Jenna. She felt the same on Monday and felt anxious. So look how similar we all are, guys. We are not alone in these feelings. We just have to start unpicking the stuff and finding what is our route to get the things done that we want to do and feel all right with it. So you're going to write down the situation, the thoughts that you're having about the thing, the feelings that you are having about the thing. We're working out what's going on for me. Then I want you now to write down 4 alternative thoughts that you could think about the thing. Okay, so let's say we use our going into Primark example. Feels a lot. I'm already, so you can see I can feel myself like that because it's just a lot. It's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I would genuinely will be all right doing that. I don't feel the levels of anxiety that I know some of you might feel, but I'm not feeling amazing. I don't feel amazing about it. So what I will do is say, okay, what are the other thoughts that I could have? I could have a thought, as we said yesterday, of excitement. Maybe I feel excited that we're moving forward in the world. Maybe I could focus my attention on the thoughts of my children's joy because they want to get something from there today. Maybe I could focus my thoughts on thoughts of, isn't it great to have some freedom? It could be that kind of feeling. And I'm going to write down 4 alternative thoughts. So whatever your challenge is, whether it's the, pandemic type anxiety or to personal anxiety about relationships or time, or we had people talking yesterday about the social constructs of like the timings of life. Oh, you must be married by this age. You must have children, right? That kind of thing, that overwhelming feeling. Maybe it's that. I want you to write down 4 alternative thoughts that you could have. 4 alternative thoughts and have a little dig deep with that one. And then I want you to find, again, back with this detective hat on. Thank you, Jenna, for you've got this. I have got this. My detective hat on, which we know is not a thing. I don't think there is a thing as a detective hat, but I'm keeping it going. I want you to write down evidence to support the new thoughts. Okay, so what evidence do I have that I will feel joy because my children will feel joy? Well, I know that they'll feel joy getting something because children like stuff. So there's lots of evidence to support that feeling. What about the thought that my new thought that the freedom? Do I have any evidence? Well, yeah, because I know that For me, being inside all of the time doesn't feel like freedom. So I can say that there is a lot of evidence to support that I will feel a sense of freedom, being able to go somewhere different. I have a brain that likes variety and changing things up. So for me, I know that will give me a sense of, joy to be able to do that. So that's a bit of evidence. So I want to dig a little deep and think, what evidence can I say to support this new thought? And this might be, the new thoughts that you've written down might be a little challenging for you right now. So they might not be easy thoughts, even though you can get on board with the fact that they could be a reality and they could be a new version, a new way to see this situation. Then I want you to write down the new thoughts and some evidence to support it. So you can it doesn't have to be in any neat order, by the way, just stick it down on a piece of paper. We're just investigating. Then I want you to write down how you feel about the thing. So my words are not coming out today. It's because I had a sip of coffee. I'm probably not a person that should add on to my reckless train of thought with coffee and caffeine. It's like, woo, in the morning. So write down the situation. These are the things you're going to do. Write down the situation or your challenge. Write down the thoughts you're having about the thing. Write down the feelings that you're having about the thing. Write down 4 alternative thoughts you could have about the thing. Write down some evidence to back up those new thoughts. And then write down how you feel about the thing now. Okay, so with those new thoughts, use my Primark example. With those new thoughts, I feel better about the situation. That doesn't mean I won't feel a level of overwhelm. It doesn't mean there won't be a time when I think, there's too many people in here. Why is everybody big, like Aggie? It's too much. Why she made a mess there? Why is everything a mess? I may feel those, but I can then focus my attention on children's joy, freedom in the world, something different to do, right? I can focus my attention on that. Sometimes with our brain, what we've got to do is just coax it back. When it wants to run amok off into its anxiety place, because what happens, which is interesting with our brains, right? We create in our brains, I'm going to be very fancy and say neural pathways. We create neural pathways in our brains that are, this is the thing I do when this happens. And our brain wants a shortcut. So let's say your trigger, I go to Primark or I step out into the world, there's too many people. I'm going to shoot that through this neural pathway and or whatever you want to imagine it like. And that goes to anxiety, through the anxiety chute in my brain. We need to move it from there away from that feeling. We need to change it with this exercise that we're doing with these new thoughts. So we're going to create a new path in our brain. You can use my part. This is the old path. We're going to create a new part in. The Gen Zs aren't going to like it. It's going to be a side part in. We're going to create a new part in our brains. It's not a part in, right? I'm making this really complicated. We're going to create a new path. This pathway is going to be the pathway to go into Primark and it being easy, and it's going to be easy breezy and full of joy and freedom. That's what we're going to create in our brains. That doesn't mean that your brain won't want to shoot it down its old path of anxiety, because it knows that better. It's easier. It's an easy pathway. It's a path that it's done many times. So we need to coax our brain onto this new path. No, we're not doing that now. What we're doing now is we're going to create a new thought around this situation. So that's what we do. It's a little exercise that you can do. A quicker version than doing all of that is to ask yourself, when you're thinking about the anxiety thoughts, and we know those anxiety thoughts can run amok. Let's say your thought is, I can't get a job because if I do an interview, I'm just going to basically go onto the Zoom call and I'm just going to freeze, like Imogen mentioned her freeze feeling of anxiety. I'm going to freeze up on the interview. And what's going to happen, this is the anxiety brain talking, this is not reality. The anxiety brain is going to say, I'm going to get onto the interview and I'm going to be so nervous. I'm going to go into my freeze and I'm just going to dribble. Like when they try and talk to me, I'm not going to utter a word. My heart's going to beat fast. I'm going to have a panic attack. I'm just going to drool like on the call. That's what's going to happen. That's anxiety brain's kind of logic, right? So what we're going to ask, the quicker version, is to ask ourselves, what proof do you need that situation is unlikely to happen, right? It is unlikely that I'm going to get onto a job interview call and sit there frozen and drooling down my face. It's probably quite unlikely. So what do I need to prove to myself that this is unlikely to happen? Well, I could use past experiences. I could say, in the past, I have had a conversation without standing there drooling down my face. That's never happened to me before. So that's evidence to say that's probably not going to happen. Worst case scenario in that, I just turn it off. That's the worst case scenario, and I ring and I message afterwards, okay? So what proof do I need that this thing is unlikely to happen? The next thing, Kaylee's saying, I was anxious about blogging again after months of not because my laptop went at kaput, but I pushed past it and I wrote anyway. I did notice that you had written something. I haven't read it yet, Kaylee. Please feel free to share it into the Happy Me Project Facebook group, because we'd love to hear it. And it's brave to blog. It's brave to put your work out into the world. It's brave. Every day we are brave, guys. And so be kind enough to yourself as you go through it.
Be kind.
My daughter's just here and she's just shouting, be kind at you, which is nice. And she's also hanging around at my feet. Are you all right? Do you want to come and say a quick hello? Okay, we're chatting all things anxiety today, okay? And I did mention that you saw some... You're going to go and brush... She's going to go and brush your teeth. Doesn't matter. Right, okay. So as we are unpicking and reframing the anxiety, I want you to think about when you feel these feelings of anxiety and you hear yourself telling yourself this story, what advice would you give a friend? It's such an easy one, this, but we forget to use it because it's at our disposal, not our disposable. That's something throwaway, honey. My words aren't working today, are they? This coffee was a bad idea. Still gonna have some more. Okay. What advice would you give a friend? Okay. This takes us out of our own head when we think like that. And what we slip into then is what we call self-coaching. Self-coaching is my life, guys. I must show you, because I keep mentioning all the whiteboards around here. Is that one there? Right. I've got whiteboards everywhere because I need to judge myself through my day. I need to see over there. I've got a list of everything that we're going to eat for food this week. I can't remember what food we need to eat or whatever. I can't remember to eat. There is a whiteboard that's been moved, which is quite annoying and means I haven't had breakfast this morning because I've forgotten. That says, Holly, have you eaten today? That's me self-coaching. But we can do this in every instance, right? We can remind ourselves to get out of our heads. And so when we say, what would you tell a friend? When we feel the anxiety bubbling up under the surface, ask yourself, if your friend explained the challenge that you're having about going to Primark, what would you say to them? Because I guarantee that you would be much kinder than you would be to yourself. Because what we sometimes do is when we think, I feel anxious about going to Primark, I'm making this a big deal. I actually don't feel this anxious about going to Primark. I'm just going to put out there in the world. I'm using it as an example. But let's say I did, and some of you might be, and there's no judgment on that. So let's say I'm feeling that. I might then pile on some guilt and some shame, a little dollop of shame in there as well. You're shameful. You can't go to Primark. What a loser. What rubbish adult. Yeah. We say things like that to ourselves, don't we? We wouldn't say that to a friend. Jenna, I'm obsessed with whiteboards. There's literally 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 in here. There's 6 whiteboards. I can't get through life. And there's Post-it notes everywhere as well. It's a madhouse. Honestly, if people come in here, if I ever get arrested for something, they're going to come here and go, oh, it was obvious. Look at her. She's fucking mad. But yes, so we are Jenna's also saying we are, I've got sellotape stuck to me here. What's going on? We are so easy to offer support to others, but when it's ourselves, we struggle to be kind. 100% the truth. And don't we know it? So when we think that question to ourselves, I want you to be really real with that and to get out your head and think, what would I say to myself? What would I say to somebody else? Sorry. So if somebody else said to me, I'm scared to go to Primark, I'd say, listen, give yourself a break. It's been a tough year, full of anxiety, full of reasons to be scared to go to Primark. A global pandemic, a plague on our houses, right? That's been going on. Of course, I would be scared to go to Primark. Plus, I would say to them, you've already told me you're an empath. You're somebody who picks up on energy. That's going to be really noisy for you. But you know what? Take it step by step, babe. That's what I would say. That's what I would be saying to somebody, okay? And when we do that, we get out our own heads. Wendy says, I used to say to myself, why can't I cope? The worst detrimental thing ever. Exactly. It's just such nonsense. It's such nonsense. We're so hard on ourselves. Why can't I cope? Why aren't I a good adult? Why aren't I good at adulting or whatever? We feel like this because it's hard. That's why none of us are that good at it, because it's hard. And we have to make decisions every single day. Okay, that's it. Hi on Facebook. I can't say who it is because it hasn't come up with your name, but I can say, but hi, welcome. So what are we going to do next? So self-coaching. Feel free to talk to yourself out loud. It is not mad. It is coaching yourself. Sometimes I will genuinely say to myself when I feel myself running amok into anxiety brain, stop, enough. That is enough. Say it out loud. Create your own stop. That is enough. Don't be a knob to yourself anymore. Whatever that looks like, okay? How can you shift? Although I wrote sift. That's interesting. How can you shift? And I nearly said sift. How can you sift? Anyway, shut up, Holly. How can you shift the anxiety story? That was self-coaching, by the way, just so you know. How can you shift the anxiety story away from it being this all-encompassing thing to just being a moment, a nod, a signal that there's a bit of unrest, that you won't have to do a little bit of work on and be just a little bit kinder to yourself? How can you move it from, I have anxiety? And you see what I said there? I have anxiety. We mentioned this yesterday. When we create this, I have anxiety around stuff, we do it with other issues when it comes to our mental health. I have this. It keeps us stuck. Now, first of all, I understand. It's because I read that, I saw that heart and my head went, love. I understand that having a diagnosis of something is very helpful. I do get that. It's helpful for us to know where to point the car. That's why I like to think of it. So then we know, okay, now I know this is what's going on for me. I'm not mad. The doctor has told me I'm feeling anxiety. I can move the car there and I can go, right, I'm going to focus on the Screw Anxiety Challenge because I know now what I'm feeling is anxiety. Whatever, I get the reasons for it. And I think it's very important when it comes to explaining it to other people, because other people don't get it if they haven't gone through that stuff themselves. It's very hard for them to understand until they do, and then they get it. But sometimes we don't get it till we get it. And so it's helpful to explain to other people when you have a diagnosis of depression or stress or anxiety from a GP and somebody's given you the nod and the paperwork and all of that. Regardless of that, when you say that you are going through something to somebody and they hear those words, it helps them to understand that you are struggling, you are going through a difficult time. So I 100% get that for other people. However, for you, when you say and you declare to your brain, to yourself, I have anxiety, you keep yourself stuck. What you can change it to, and it's dead simple and it doesn't minimize your pain, it's I'm experiencing some anxiety. Because even those of you with heightened anxiety won't experience it every single second of every single day, even if it feels like you do. There will be moments of respite. There will be a moment when you're engrossed in a TV program, or when you're having a nice bath, or you eat a nice bit of food and you're not thinking about being anxious, you're just enjoying your meal. There are moments. So it's not a 24/7 thing, even if it's quite challenging right now and it feels a lot. So I want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on I'm experiencing it, so that you can also begin to notice when you're not, even if it's minutes, even if it's seconds at the moment. So you can begin to see your in-between moments. Thank you for your lovely comments as well on there. Jenna says, think people don't truly understand it unless they are or have experienced it themselves. 100%. Yeah, I think that's really true. I don't think we do. And I always say we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And it's kind of, I'm glad sometimes people don't understand it, because if they haven't experienced it, then great. I would doubt anybody in the world hasn't experienced anxiety though, because we all will. Some people just don't experience it at the heightened levels that some of you will. And I'm glad they don't, and that's kind of how we have to think about it. We have to remember always everybody's doing the best that they can. And sometimes that means that they don't show up in a way that we need. That's not their job. It's not other people's job to fix it for us. So I think that's just important for us to remember that. Okay, what else were we going to say? So it's our nod. So let's look at a reframe. So reframing, when we talk about reframing, it means to take a situation, as we just did, and to shift it into looking at it through a different lens, through a different way of seeing it. So I've lost my job. I'm going to die. I'm going to be out on the street. Ah. Or move the frame. A new opportunity could arise. I'm gonna not have to work with annoying Sue from work and that bloke that eats them horrible stinky sandwiches every day. Okay, now I don't have to work there. I'm gonna go and work somewhere where it smells delicious and I have great connections with people and an inspiring job. That's a reframe. Okay, so let's say your brain in anxiety mode, it feels anxiety, boom, anxiety hits. We're in danger. That's what the brain thinks. I don't like this. Sound the alarms, pump the adrenaline through the body, heart rate beating, all of that stuff, sweating, froze, whatever is going on for you, headache, fuzzy head. That's what your brain's doing. What we can reframe it, we can calm it, and things we talked about yesterday, we can change it to, rather than we are in danger and all of the stuff that the brain wants to do, we can shift it to, I know that I am getting anxious. I don't like this. My brain thinks I'm in danger, but I'm not. I'm going to write this out. Okay. Well, that is our reframe. We are not, unless we are in danger. This is what we talked about yesterday. If anxiety happens because you've just been in a car crash, normal. We don't need to do anything. Our brain will get it and move forward. But when it's the anxiety where we wake up in the morning, we just feel heightened anxiety and all we've got to do is go to the shop. That's too much. It shouldn't be there. It doesn't need to be there. It's pumping anxiety into our body and adrenaline and all of that stuff that we don't need. So we need to just remind ourselves. You might want to do the rubbing of the heart. It looks like it's on the wrong side, but it's not. Rub your heart. It's a little cuddle for yourself. You could do this now. And you're just going to say, I know I'm getting anxious. Some of you might be feeling it now as I'm talking about it. Just the word might make you feel anxious. I know I'm getting anxious. I don't like it. My brain thinks I'm in danger. But I'm not. I'm not in danger. I'll write this out, okay? And reminding yourself that you are the person that's in control of this, even when it doesn't feel like it. My auntie suffered from anxiety attacks for years, horrendous ones, like the worst level, like where she would vomit and where she would actually poo herself, like that bad level of anxiety attacks. Some people go to that level. And she worked on that anxiety over the years and had the right support system and the right, I think she did CBT type stuff. And that therapist, the good therapist that worked with her, taught her that, and got her to do this. And I'm not saying do this today, guys, because I'm not a CBT therapist. But the therapist essentially taught her to bring on a panic attack, because you can. We probably all could, couldn't we, if we thought about the worst things. And then he told her to stop the panic attack in her own time, for her to do this in her own space, to set a whole day to recognizing that she was actually in control of it. We are in control of it. It doesn't feel like it when it just sneaks up on us, but knowing that you are is really powerful. It's really powerful. And again, when we say we're in control or we're taking responsibility, never interpret that as blame, because again, we don't know what we don't know. And we don't know how to do that until we know how to do that. So it's just stepping stones. But I just wanted you to hear that, because sometimes I think some of you will be listening and watching and thinking, oh, but it's not, she's not talking about the stuff that's as bad as me. People that get it this bad don't come back from it. And they do. They do. You can. If you're in that space, you can. You take some steps. You've got to do that. You've got to keep walking forward. You've got to work on this first. So we're going to start thinking about what your own personal anxiety hotspots are. You got them, right? You'll know what they are. It's like anxiety bingo. What sets it off? What sets off the anxiety brain? I've said to you yesterday, for me, it's timings. That's a lot for me. I get quite fixated on timings. And I don't necessarily always... I don't always judge timings very well. So that can be challenging. I know that's my anxiety hotspot, anxiety bingo, and you guys will have your own. So knowing what yours are is very, very important. Wendy's saying, that's what I did for over 12 months. I need to take the action on myself and change my program thoughts. It's brilliant, Wendy. It's just brilliant that you do. And I feel so proud of everybody that does that. The fact that you're part of my community, it just makes me feel proud that you take that time for yourself. It just changes your life for the better. It really does. And if you're just new to this stuff, just give it time. You'll get there. It's not an overnight thing. You're shifting a whole, when I was talking about that bloody parting, you're shifting a whole neural thought pathway. You need to move some stuff, and it takes a little time sometimes to do that. Okay, so let's think about anxiety in our reframes. Anxiety as a motivator. Ooh, anxiety is a motivator, isn't it? I just mentioned it. Make anxiety your motivating friend, okay? He'll make you on time. She'll make you look your best. It might make you study more, okay? Or prepare for the presentation, study for the test. Anxiety is a motivator, isn't it? It's actually a really aggressive, annoying little motivator. It's like the opposite of a cheerleader. It's just like, fucking do it, man. You're like, oh shit, okay. I'll do some revision for Christ's sake. I'll prepare, I'll be there earlier. It's a motivator. Anxiety as a teacher is a reframe. What lessons can you learn from your anxiety thoughts? There's always a lesson in every situation. What is anxiety teaching you and about how you see the world around you? Anxiety highlights, and I think this is dead important actually for you guys to hear. Anxiety highlights your lovely soul. The people that I know, the people that are anxious, are often thinking people. They are caring people, caring human beings that care about the world that they live in, about those around them, and they want to show up as their best self. Okay, so and a person who goes through anxiety is a person who doesn't want to waste their life. You're just a good human being that wants to be your best self, who cares about the world. You're a sensitive soul, and sensitive gets seen as a negative thing, and it's not. Sensitive people are the best people in the world. Sensitive people pick up on other people's sadness and they want to help and they're nurturers and carers. They're the best people. So flip the switch on this one. It's a motivator, a teacher, and it shows me, and it should show you that actually you're just a person who wants to be their best self. You want to take life in. You want to make sure you're using this time on this planet the best that you can. That makes you brilliant, okay? It really, really does. So your challenge today your challenge for the Screw Anxiety Challenge is this. And this might really challenge some of you. They are challenges. They are supposed to challenge you. I'm going to have a drink of my coffee. It's exciting. Are you excited that I'm having a drink of coffee? Do you wonder why I drink it out of a straw? It's because I don't want coffee stains on my teeth. And people laugh at that. But I don't care, okay? Wendy says, I love to use my anxiety to grow. I say, oh, I'm growing by this feeling. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. Oh, Imogen, I'm so glad that you're here and that you're enjoying the challenge. I'm so glad that it's helpful. Okay, so your challenge is this. And this is going to be a challenge just in itself. Share a picture of yourself. If that feels horrific, you can filter it. I will allow it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the filter unless it's like silly and obvious. You can filter it. Or if you really, really, and you're like, Holly, I can't do it. I don't want to show my face. If you can't do it, I'm going to let you off the hook on this because I don't want to be the creator of your anxiety. I want to challenge you, but I would love to see your faces. I can see them on your profiles and stuff anyway. So a picture of you. And I want you to share 3 facts about you with this picture. Anything that you want, okay? Just something so we get to know you a little bit. And then I want you to share the thing that you sometimes feel anxious about. Pick one. Pick a thing that is one of your anxiety bingo hotspots, right? What is the thing that you feel anxious about? And how you're going to reframe it. So I'll give you an example of my own. My name is Holly. I love birthday cake. Does anybody else like birthday cake? It's my favorite one. Birthday cake and carrot cake. But anyway, my name is Holly. I love birthday cake, Grey's Anatomy, love Grey's Anatomy, and I hate mushrooms. And sometimes I feel anxious about being late, okay? But my reframe on that is I know that it teaches me to respect mine and other people's time, okay? That's it. Imogen loves birthday cake as well. I love a birthday cake. I just love it. I can't stop eating it though. If it's in here, I just will keep eating cake and then I don't have lunch. Just cake. It's not good. Do not come here for your nutrition advice. I'm terrible. Katie says, I love this activity last year. I can't wait to do it again. I love this. I hate mushrooms too. I can't see who that is, but you're my kindred. You're my kindred. Do you know what's so funny? That when I say I hate mushrooms, and I really do hate mushrooms. There's not many foods I don't like. I just say as well, it's someone's birthday every day, so therefore you can have every day. Exactly right. We should always celebrate somebody's birthday, and that's what I will do. What was I talking about there? I've forgotten. What was I talking about before I saw the birthday cake thing and got distracted? Mushrooms. So when I say I hate mushrooms, people get quite, it's a bit like Marmite for people. People either really, really fully get on board and they're like, you're my people, or they're like, I'm not sure I can trust you. Now you don't like mushrooms. People are it's a divisive topic. I think it's, I mention a lot that I'm a widow. I think the mushroom thing, I think the mushroom bombshell might be up there with the widow, becoming a widow. I think it is. People get just as uncomfortable about it. Hannah loves Grey's Anatomy as well. Amazing. Oh, it's Sharon. Amazing. You hate mushrooms as well. Oh, well, there we go. That's why we're friends, Sharon. That must be why it is, because we just don't like. I've tried, and people want to tell me how I should have my mushrooms. No, I don't like them. Not hot, not cold, not fried, I don't know what else you can do with them. I don't care because I don't like them. And I have tried. Maybe one day I will. Once my taste buds die out when I'm really old, maybe I'll like them. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent again. That's your challenge. Picture of you, 3 facts about you, and your anxiety bingo hotspot, and what you feel anxious about sometimes, and then how you can reframe that. That is your challenge. Post it out into the world. Make sure you tag me in it. That's not a tag, but it is. Tag me in it. Hashtag screw anxiety. You can also hashtag the Happy Me Project as well. And I will get to see it. You can join this. I'm not going to announce the winners till Sunday. So you can do this at any time. Like if you want to watch all of the 3 days and then do it, or you want to just get stuck in and do it today, which many of you did yesterday, then do that. I love seeing them. And this is actually one of my favorite because I get to know you guys as well and see what it is that you like. I hope that you've enjoyed today's session on reframing. Remember, anxiety is a feeling. It's a feeling we need. It doesn't need to be around all of the time, but you have the power to shift it. Just be kind to yourself as you go through this whole process. And Imogen is looking forward to doing it. Amazing. And Katie's also excited to do this again. Might be the same anxiety as last time, but I'll try and change it up. Hey, do what you got to do. Just tune into where you're at. It doesn't matter whether it's the same. I know some of you did this challenge last year, but it doesn't matter. Just start fresh eyes. Don't worry about what you did last time. I'm so glad, Jenna. I'm so glad that you guys are here. And for those of you that don't know, I am starting the You Got This Academy next week on Monday. And I did announce yesterday, and this was actually based on Sharon's request, and a couple of others had said it as well. So the You Got This Academy is 6 weeks of self-development with me, and we work in a group together. And each week we go from feeling the fear to getting clear. We talk about different topics like what we're talking about today. We talk about limiting beliefs and negative thinking, and we unpick some of the stuff that we've had going on. And what I did is I'm now going to run the same session. We've got a troll on YouTube. You can look at that afterwards and laugh. We're going to have 2 days of the same session now. So last year I just did 1 session a week. I'm actually going to run the same session twice. So I'm going to do it Monday evening at 7 p.m. And Wendy's just asking the challenge to go on our profile, Holly. So you can, if you can post it out into the world, out of the group, great. Or on Instagram or on YouTube, anywhere on social media, as long as I can see it, that's it. Or into the group if you don't want to put it out into the rest of the world, is fine as well. So what was I talking about there? Yes, so 6. So I'm now going to do it 2 days. I'm going to do Monday evening at 7 p.m. and then I'm going to repeat that session Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. So a little bit more work for me, but it just means that more of you can do it. And I wanted to give you an option. And I did consider it when we did it last time and I didn't do it. So I want to do it this time so that some of you who want to do it in the daytime can do it then. However, if you can't do either of those sessions, do remember that each session will be recorded and you have a private members area and a Facebook group where you can get involved, and or they will be posted into there so you can watch it whenever you want as well. And I know that some of my OGs, my originals from the first go of You Got This, are actually doing it again, which is so lovely. I'm so pleased. And so those guys will be in again. And the reason that they are, because they actually have access to all of the old content, the reason that they've joined again is largely because of accountability. That's it. Because we know ourselves as people, right? We can listen to this stuff, but unless we actually take action today and we do something about the next step and we do the stuff, it's very easy not to do it, isn't it? And just days to pass by when you've thought about doing it, or you've thought about doing a challenge, or you got this academy and you've thought about it and then you haven't done it. It's too easy to do that. I'm the same. Like, I need to know that I've got to show up at a time and somebody else is going to be there to hold me accountable. So that's why I'd imagine most of the guys are doing it again. So you guys are welcome to join, and it will be linked below. I would love to see you. I'm really excited about doing it again. I will be sending you out something in the post again, and I've got an extra thing at the end of the academy this time, which I'm still plotting. We also have some guests that are going to come do some bonus speaking, some incredible guests. I'm going to get them on my website today and start talking about those guys. But we have somebody going to be doing sleep and meditation, talk about sleep. We've got somebody that is going to be talking about decluttering your home and your mind, a simple way of living. We've got somebody who's going to be doing a yoga session. And we also have Esther, the investor, who is going to be talking about money mindset and having a good financial well-being. So that's something that I wouldn't be able to do or offer. And so we're going to get those guys in as well. So it's amazing. I'm so excited. And Katie says, good, I'm not in the right space to join this time. Oh, there'll be another time to do something with me. Don't you worry. You're part of my community always. And James Charles, not the James Charles, I would imagine on YouTube, I do not have an OnlyFans and your comments are boring. And Jane is back in. Amazing, Jane. And you got this. And she did the first time as well. Excellent. I'm excited. I love it. And that's it, guys, for today. I look forward to seeing all of your posts and on your challenge, and have an amazing day, whatever it is that you are doing. I'll speak to you all very soon. Peace.